The true stories of Ugg and how paper was invented. All right, here we go, guys. As you know, my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was the very first caveman on the face of the earth, and he was the coolest, most sophisticated, most clever of all the cavemen, and his name was Ugg. That's right. He was very smart. He had a very big brain, and he invented everything in art because he wanted to impress Augustina, who was the most beautiful cave lady known to man. Oh my gosh, she was so beautiful. She was so beautiful because she had the most beautiful hair. Oh, it grew off of her knuckles like a waterfall, and she had the most beautiful hair that grew out of her ears like a fountain. But mostly, Ugg thought she was so beautiful because she had hair that grew out of her nose all the way down to her toes. Oh, man. And also, she had tiny, itty-bitty, so dainty, tiny feet. They were only the size of your dining room table. Only the size of your dining room table. And when she would laugh, that beautiful laugh of hers, she would flip her nose hair right on over her shoulder. Now, as you know, Ugg always had a standing date with his most beloved Augustina. Woof! And on this most beautiful of lovely days, Ugg had just cleaned and tidied his beautiful brand new cave that he had just purchased from the Caveman Real Estate Agency. It was a nice cave. And it was in preparation for a visit from his most beautiful cave lady, Augustina. "Oh, me make cave tidy good," he said. Now, as you know, Ugg had a very tiny pet baby dinosaur, and her name was Dot the dinosaur. Oh, she was so cute. She had blue fur, and she was so tiny. She was just a baby. She was only 3 times the size of your school. Very tiny baby pet dinosaurs. And babies, even dinosaur babies, love to chew because babies have growing teeth. And oh man, she was always chewing on stuff. Oh, see how tiny? You're so cute. Now, on this particular good day, Dot was out in the forest of Ugg, having fun and playing and, thinking about how she loved to chew wood when a mighty storm had brewed up outside. Oh. And Dot the dinosaur did not like to get wet, so she galloped and galumped all the way up Ugg Mountain. And in the meantime, back at the cave, back at the very clean cave, Ugg had just finished, and he had built a mighty big fire by the mouth of the cave to keep everything warm. When Dot came in running and got out of the rain and began to, oh my gosh, she shook her blue wet fur back and forth, and put out the flames of Ugg's mighty big fire. It wasn't great. "Oh, me not be happy. No, that dinosaur, what you do? You make cave so messy. Ah, my beloved Augustina. Oh, she will think me an untidy caveman. Now you go to back cave and dry off. Oh, you go back there now. You go back, but don't you chew on my firewood." That's right. She loved firewood, and there was a glorious big firewood pile in the back. So she curled up in the opposite corner and tried not to think of this delicious wood, but the temptation was too great, and oh my gosh, she opened her mouth and dropped her tiny tongue onto the floor, where it rolled across the floor, and it rolled across the floor, and it rolled across the floor until it got to the other side of the cave. And then she licked the log at the top of the stack of the firewood, and it flipped 57 times in the air until it landed in her mouth. And she chewed it up. Chew. And then she chewed it up and spit it out. Ba-twing! And she chewed it up, spit it off. Ba-ching! All over the cave floor. It wasn't great. Ugg came in and was not happy. "Oh! Arg! No, that dinosaur you chew up on wood and make big mess. You play with it too. Me not be happy. You not play purr around, Dot. This be serious business because my beloved Augustina will think me an untidy cave guy. Oh, no. You go outside now and meet clean cave again. Oh. And so Dot went outside to play in the forest of Ugg. So happy she was. And Ugg tried to clean up the chewed up wood with the dinosaur spit in it, but he got big buckets of water and threw them on the cave floor, but that only made the wood spit spread out and get yucky. So then he had to draw out the floor and he built a mighty big fire. And that helped because the fire evaporated all the water and the moisture and it looked a lot like this. The wood spit looked like that. But just then the mountains started shaking and Ugg could hear the tiny footsteps of Augustina approaching the cave door. Knock, knock.
Who is it?
He said.
It is I, your cave girl girlfriend, Augustina.
He said,
I'll be right there.
and he ran to the door and he opened the cave door. Bam! And there she stood in all of her beauty. Oh my gosh, she looked so beautiful, guys.
Oh, Ugg, what are you doing, my handsome caveman boyfriend? What are you doing back there? And what is all this stuff on the cave floor?
He said,
Well,
this me new invention. That dinosaur played per all of it. And then he began to draw on it with a piece of burnt wood. He draw what he saw. See, he draw what he saw. And what he saw was the beautiful feet of his most beloved, Augustina. Oh,
I love it. What do you call this? Well, that dinosaur chew it up and then play per it all day. So me call it playper.
now it's called paper. And now, as you can imagine, Augustine was so impressed, so they went on their date to McDonald's, had a McDonald's sandwich, rutabaga fries, and a Big Rock milkshake. Yes, it was all love and rainbows. And then they decided they would eventually get married, but not until they finished their education, so they both got their degrees from ecology from the University of College, and they got married and had 3 little Ugglings. And the first was a boy, and his name was Uggo, and the second 2 were girls, and they were called Uggalina and Augustina, and they both looked just like their mom. They had hair that grew out of their nose, all the way down to their toes. And that is the true story of how paper was invented.